Hi, it's Jamie with JamiesArtsalaCartes. Thank you very much for joining me. I have a fun project planned for us today. I hope this video inspires you to create something of your own. If you would, hit the like button and share the video with your friends. That helps me to grow this channel and to continue to bring you new projects. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please consider subscribing? And if you have, thank you very much. Well, we have a lot to do, so let's get to it. This time, I've mixed it with regular white school glue, and we're going to use a black, yellow, orange, and red. And you see I've put a thin coat of black on our surfaces. Alright, let's see what we can do with this experiment. We can be able to compare it to the Floetrol, between the Floetrol and the glue. Let's see what happens. Alright, are we ready to get this party started? So I did use the same ratios. I just interchanged the glue for the Floetrol, but I kept this the same. We can always adjust on the next one if we want to. Alright, give it a good shake. This is our black. Try to get this spread out a little bit. So I've been watching several videos in preparation of this video and the last one. So we'll see, depending on what we come up with. I may watch different ones. This is just a ring pour is what this is called. And some people measure it out and all that. I don't, obviously. Wow, I like that. How cool is that? Alright, just like last time, I'm going to set these over to the side and then we'll work on the canvas. Oh, I like that, even without that being a bright orange. I'm just going to get some black flowing. Do just like a dirty pour, or a ring pour, excuse me, and keep it inside there. So I'm basically just using paint that I had on hand, both all acrylic, but you know, different brands, different ages. I'm going to blow it just a little bit, but look at all those cells. I would say we get better cells with the glue. Look at that. That's kind of amazing, right? Maybe we'll do the heat gun, because we did this last time, which is just a heat tool. Oh, look at that. Oh my word. Look at that. All right, I'm a believer. Glue is a whole lot cheaper than Floetrol. Floetrol's not terribly expensive, but look at that. Well, I think we'll let it set for like an hour, and then I'll bring you back and I'll let you see what it looks like. But yeah, we'll do this again with glue, with different colors. I want to do something with teals. I'm surprised that the yellow did that. How about that? I think that just turned out pretty amazing. Look at the cells. All right, I'll bring you in for a close-up now, and then like in an hour, because it will move around a little bit. Well, there are the trivets. Wow. Wow, really liking those. And here's our canvas. It's a little more busy than I would like it to be. We'll see if it shifts around a little bit. But look at the cells. And again, this was white glue and paint and water. And that's it. Pretty cool, right? All right, we're going to do some more trivets, and we're going to do a different color combination, I think. Let's see. this, y'all. I found some red tile in my stash. So now we're going to try another little experiment here. Let's see. I'm not going to put a background because I got a background. So I really like how it's coming out. Look at that. Something on that corner right there. There we go. That one. I kind of like that with the colored tile. That's different, right? Found in my stash. Here's some 4x4s. I'm sorry, 6x6s versus the 4x4s. I'm going to try that same little flame kind of thing. Did not paint the edge. So I just want to see what the difference will be. Good thing about the paint that I've got is it is self-leveling, so that does kind of help me a little bit. Look at that. Alright, so with this set, I'm going to use a product from Let's Resin. It's, the hardener, the resin and the hardener, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio again. And I just basically empty the bottles out. This one had a little bit left in it. Something different with these is that inside the bottle there was this little stopper, so that was different than the last resin, so that's interesting. And it only made as much as last time. Oh, the other thing is it's completely clear. I am going to use a bigger stick this time and see if that helps with the coverage. But I think I'm going to do something different on the canvas. I want to pour the trivets first. And then I may put polyurethane on the canvas. And my thinking behind that is that trivets I want resin on because, you know, so like a coffee mug or something hot or something cold can set on it and not stick to it. So that's the problem I've had in the past is glasses, mugs, what have you, sticking to my trivets, which is, and I just like the look of resin, so that's why I decided to try this. So these came out really pretty, have some beautiful cells happening in them, but I only have this much resin. I may have some in the house, but this is what I've got out here in the she shed. Again, I went ahead and just mixed it right in the cup. I'm not going to use the whole spreading it out with the glove thing again. That may have wasted some resin in itself. Alright, here we are the next morning. The tiles are nice and dry. So we have resin on this side, and then we did that experiment with the urethane on this side. Believe it or not, I really kind of like this a little bit better, only because, like on this one, poured all exactly the same. I've got all those little divots. Poured the same kind of paint as, you know, like this. I did notice just a couple air bubbles in this one. I'll do a light little sanding on them, but you can see I added a little bit of that. I have some gold, silver, and copper flakes that I added just for interest. So I'm going to go ahead and get the second coat on them. And I am going to go ahead and try to put resin on these, I think. And then we'll have to come and clean up the backs and put some kind of backing on them. Then on the picture, on the canvas, it's completely dry. I prefer the urethane on canvas, I think. If you remember on the other one, it didn't dry even by the next morning. This is all completely dry. I will put a second coat of urethane on there just to seal all my little foil pieces. But the colors popped, which is what I like in the resin. Number one, not for the cost. Number two, for the canvas, it seems to be easier to use. Like, this is dry all the way around. That other one wasn't, even the next morning. So, all right. Making progress in this experiment. Alright, so they suggest prior to putting that second coat on there to give it a light sanding. And I was worried that I would loosen all of that metallic flake up, but what I'm finding is just the tiniest little bit comes off. But for the most part, it seems to be burnishing it into the urethane or the paint, or just it's burnishing it into the tile. I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. And it just is just the slightest little scratch up there. And, I mean, we lost, you know, like a minuscule amount. So there we go. Alright. Progress. Alright, these are all dry. So now I'm going to work on getting these little extra drips sanded off. And then we'll get the backs painted and get the protective surface put on there. And we'll call this one done. Alright, this is the last of our pouring series. This is our largest set to date that we did. So we literally had these tiles sitting on top of this canvas, and I poured and poured and poured. Canvas came out really pretty. It's got silver and gold and copper metallic flakes in it. And it's got some really cool lacing. I'll get you in close to see that. And then of course we've got this set of tiles. And then we've got some trivets, some hot plates that I made. I'm going to show you how I get these backing on here. Something like that. Just ordered these from Amazon. The little feet that I put on the back of my coasters just come like this. They're inexpensive, readily available. And again, I put these little hooks to lift my canvas up off the bottom of my pouring pan, and you can't tell at all. I did go ahead and paint the back black and then give it a little bit of shine. This is literally where it came through the canvas, so we didn't waste as much as we did before because we didn't have a big puddle. Our hooks are pretty clean, so that was kind of nice. Use something simple like these little skewers because we did do two kinds of resin. So we tried this resin, which was finishing up from that first and second set, and then I needed a little more, so I went with Let's Resin. Ordered that from Amazon, and I don't know if I'll do the resin thing again. It was kind of tough. Some of mine I'm not quite happy. I've got some dimples, but I may end up putting decals on them. I do like the pores. The pores came out really pretty. I got some really cool effects. I want to show you how to put these little feet on. Super simple. You've probably seen me do it in the past, but I'm going to do it one more time, just to be sure you know. And basically, I'm using E6000. It's almost the end of my tube. I'm just going to finish it up. And I just put a little bit of, so I'm going to put them all in the same spot. So I've got them right here on the corner. So that's where I'm going to put these. I'm putting just a little dollop of daisy there, except it's not sour cream. Set that there because that's where it's going to go next. And basically these have a little bit of a sticky back, so I just press them in, and so the two will kind of melge together. And we'll just let them dry just like that. So to get the backings for these, I'm going to just put gobs and gobs of this E6000 on this paper backing. I've done cork in the past, and I may go back to that. We'll just have to see how these kind of hold up over time. Let me get the edge pretty good. Give it something to hook onto. And then basically just center it. Now, the one thing I noticed on the other ones is that these little grooves kind of make it a little bit harder. So all I'm doing is going to really give it a good pressing. So a couple of the tools I used, like to get my little drips of resin, I use this little Rotary with like a sanding bit on the end of it. And part of the acrylic pour, I used a heat gun to pop the bubbles. This worked really well. But yeah, so this helped me to clean up my resin quite a bit. So basically, I'll bring you in and let you see some close-ups. I think going forward, I'm not sure that I'll do resin again. I can get a good effect with the varnish that I use from Liquitex, which is what I've used in the past over my alcohol ink. It's a lot easier to work with. So we'll have to see. I have to think about that, because this was way more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But we did get some really pretty acrylic pours out of this batch. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, would you please consider subscribing? And well, until next time, happy crafting!